Yes. Hi. So in this segment, we will be talking about infrastructure and the basics of infrastructure. So it can be told that infrastructure is actually a backbone for any country's economy because the development of that particular nation, more or less, it is judged by the infrastructure because that is where it provides most of it makes the commute easier for the people. And it involves a lot of other employment rates as well. So that is where infrastructure comes into the picture. So there is a huge demand with respect to infrastructure currently because urbanization is happening. People from tier 2, tier 3 cities are moving to metropolitan cities. So the sizes of the cities are getting expanded. Now Mumbai is completely saturated. Navi Mumbai is coming into the picture. In a similar way, the huge cities have been expanding, and we will have to provide accommodation, the facilities, so the housing for them, and the commuting purpose. So we'll have to manage the traffic, so alternate forms of transportations within that particular city vicinity. It's all coming into the picture with respect to infrastructure. So over here, let's see what we have got with respect to the Indian infrastructure sector. Okay. So firstly, we have 1.5 trillion US dollars that is invested in national infrastructure pipeline. So national infrastructure pipeline, did you like really think about, is it a pipeline project or anything like that? Absolutely not. It is actually a series of the projects that is lined up for the whole nation where it involves all the infrastructure related projects. So it can be metro construction, it can be railways, it can be roadways or the port harbors. All of these particular constructions is where 1.5 trillion US dollars has been invested. And then we have about close to 2 billion US dollars. So this particular investment is actually made with respect to the smart city projects, the smart city machines or the housing for all. So over here, what happens in most of the tier 2, tier 3 cities, even the tier 1 cities also, they are converting into smart cities. So definitely to provide all the basic facilities for all of the houses that has been provided within the particular city with respect to electric supply, with respect to the drainage system, with respect to water supply, having correct factuals of plumbing facilities. All of these things are actually considered, and smart city machines are definitely going in progress currently. It is currently very active, and about 2 billion US dollars have been invested there. So over here, now in the previous segment, we actually spoke about where this foreign direct investments are diversified. So again, in that particular bifurcation, 13% alone it is taken for infrastructure. So like I've mentioned, infrastructure, there is a bulk and there is a mass construction that keeps happening, and there are a lot of people who are involved over here. So that is why FDI, it shouldn't be surprising that 13% of its share is taken by infrastructure on FDI. So we also have about close to 30% of growth in national highway construction. So in national highways, now we have the Diamond Corridor, so which is connecting from all the four corners of the nation. Similar way, the national highways, the state highways, the district roads, so the ones which is connecting towards the small villages. Everywhere the road connectivity in India has been happening, and about 30% of growth it has been seen in last financial year. So keeping all of these things into consideration, definitely Indian construction market stands at the third largest market would is what I would like to tell with respect to the Indian infrastructure sector. So next, moving forward, let's have a look at what are the subsectors that is there in infrastructure. Firstly, it is construction industry. Construction industry has two sectors. One is real estate and one is infrastructure. Now, amongst these infrastructure, there are multiple bifurcations. Let's see what it has got. Firstly, transportation and logistics. So, transportation and logistics is nothing but the different kinds of commuting purposes. So, starting from railways, starting from roadways, we have metro trains, We have bullet train projects also that is coming up. So these are the various forms of transportations that is taking place. Apart from that, we even have airports as well. Then coming to energy. So this is for the solar energy, the wind energy. This is where the different forms of energy has been consumed, and they have their own plants that is to be set up. So these particular things will come under the energy sector under infrastructure. And then we have healthcare and public health. So here is where including the small clinics, having multi-speciality hospitals and the veterinary hospitals, different kinds of healthcare centers. During these COVID times, definitely we didn't really have any space for the number of beds when the cases literally got increased. So in such way, the infrastructure have to be contributing in emergency cases also. That is where the healthcare facilities comes into the picture. Then coming to irrigation and agriculture, this is very much self-explanatory. All the facilities that has to be taken care with respect to the method of agriculture that is to be taking place. So storage of all the fertilizers and all of these things, this will be happening in a very vast size. That's why that will also come under one of the infrastructure sectors. Then coming to manufacturing and warehouse. So manufacturing and warehouse, this will include all of our factory outlets. It will include all our manufacturing units. It will include the warehouses. It will include cold storage spaces. All of these particular various industrialization ones, industrial real estate sector will be coming under the manufacturing and the warehouse. Then moving forward, similarly, we have digital infrastructure. This is where the data centers and all of those things will be coming into the picture. Then chemicals. So over here, for construction only, say for example, there are admixture chemical factories. So in the similar way, for cement, what are the various kinds of chemicals that is required then, and even the pharmacies by itself, that itself is a whole sector. Then coming to education, we have our schools, we have the colleges, the universities. All of these things will be coming under the education sector. Then of course we have the urban and the rural infrastructure, where it is more or less the real estate that I will be talking about completely in depth in the next segment. Okay. So this is about the whole bifurcation or the whole breakup that is there with respect to the infrastructure sector. So over here, what exactly is happening? It is showing how much percentage of it is been completely covered from one sector to another. Now, by this whole donut graph, you can actually see majority of them is contributed with transportation and logistics. Close to 32% of these infrastructure is been completely covered by the transportation, because there are different forms, different modes of transportations that has been happening over here. That is why. Then we have, of course, the energy, because that is the source of, it might be electricity, or now these EVs are all coming up. That is why energy is playing a second vital role, which has contributed for about 24%. Then moving forward, we have the real estate. So urban and rural infrastructure, I would like to call it real estate only, because it is very similar and it will be very easy to connect. And then, like I mentioned about the digital and the industrial infrastructure will be having about 3 percentages. That's where all of these data science centers and all will be coming into the picture. So agriculture by itself has around 10%. And then we have the social infrastructure. Social infrastructure is nothing but, I spoke about the healthcare centers, the educational purpose, where it will be serving a lot of public. That is where social infrastructure comes into the picture. So by now, we have come to the end of the infrastructure. What is the contribution of an infrastructure in any nation? What are the multiple sub-sectors that is there under infrastructure? How much percentages of it has been there? The complete breakup of an infrastructure has been given. Slightly now you know what are the various fields that is there in construction industry only. So in the next segment, let's talk about real estate and what is real estate's contribution with respect to the whole nation.